Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Spaceflight Now's live coverage of the latest mission from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. I'm Will Robinson Smith, reporter with Spaceflight Now. Good to be with you here on this Thursday, November 13th. We are broadcasting, as we always do, from the Spaceflight Now News Bureau here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. It has been a busy day in spaceflight, especially concerning activities here at the Cape. If this is your second launch with us after watching the launch, landing, and payload deployment of Blue Origin with its New Glenn rocket, sending the NASA mission on its way of Escapade, welcome back. If this is your first flight with us today, welcome in. You're taking a live look right now at United Launch Alliance's Atlas V rocket. In the 551 configuration, this particular vehicle is also sporting 5 solid rocket boosters that will help support the flight of ViaSat's ViaSat-3 Flight 2 spacecraft that will head to a geosynchronous transfer orbit a few hours after liftoff. So far, it has been an extremely quiet countdown for ULA, not working any issues as they've been fueling their Atlas V rocket there at the pad. At this point in time, with less than 60 minutes remaining, the vehicle is fully fueled, and this Atlas V, designation AV-100, is set to lift off at 10:04 p.m. Eastern, 0304 UTC for our friends around the world. Certainly appreciate the more than 1,400 of you who are joining us live as we're kicking things off. If you could do us a favor, we'd certainly appreciate it if you would be so kind as to click that like button and share the stream. Allow some more folks to find their way into this live launch coverage today. As we're getting things rolling, want to thank our moderators who are helping us out in the live chat. Once again, we are joined by Jeff Hansen, Rick Donner, and Astro Joe. You can help make the mods' lives that much easier just by following the rules of our live chat. We ask that you post your message in English so that our mods can respond as appropriate. Also, that you hold off from delving into over politics or religion or typing in all caps. Emojis are perfectly fine. We just ask that you don't create a huge block of them so it takes up a large percentage of the live chat here. And last but certainly not least, we ask that you treat each other with the kindness and respect that you yourself would like to be treated, and we'll all get along swimmingly. In addition to our mods, we're also joined by another one of our channel members on YouTube here, Cumulus Granatus, who's able to help answer folks' questions in the chat. Speaking of channel members, this and every other live launch opportunity is made possible in no small part due to the ongoing support of our channel members here, as well as on our website, spaceflightnow.com. So big thanks to folks like over here on YouTube, The Rocket Girl, Beverly Knuckles, Well-Reasoned Superhawk, Jim Walls, Bill in Lauderdale, Bridget Schult, Shelly R., Flyer KG, and many, many others. Channel membership comes with a number of perks, including discounts at our online shop, which is shop.spaceflightnow.com, access to member-only videos here on YouTube, access to our members-only Discord server, and, of course, the ability to watch all of our live launch liftoff moments from here in Florida in 4K. Speaking of channel members, want to welcome in some new ones that we've got here. Make sure I'm parsing from our previous broadcast, but it looks like we've got new members. Let's see, John Ramsey, Swan CD, Carrie Alexander, Laura Blackman, Clayton Clemens, Ashton Freeman, Paul Dutcher, all joining us with membership at the pad leader level. Stephen Carter joining us at the mission specialist level, and channel member Beverly Knuckles gifting 10 Spaceflight Now memberships. So to all of our newest members, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. If you were gifted membership, be sure to thank Beverly in the live chat, and we hope you decide to stick around with channel membership. Also, the Rocket Girl marking 15 months with us as a channel member at the mission specialist level. Appreciate you sticking with us, Rocket Girl, who says, thank you to Spaceflight Now for providing incredible coverage of every launch. I do not have any school in the next 10 days, so be assured to see me in every launch coverage soon. Go ULA, Atlas, ViaSat, and Spaceflight Now. And well-reasoned Superhawk marking 2 years, 24 months now. Member with us at the Pad Leader level with some very kind words, saying Spaceflight Now is the best coverage of all things space-related you can find. Thank you. Well, thank you, Superhawk. That is very kind of you to say. Hope to live up to that praise tonight and moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, 52 minutes, 24 seconds remaining on the clock as we're moving forward towards the launch of this Atlas V rocket. Behind the scenes here at Spaceflight Now, we've got the crew from our earlier launch coverage. Of course, our editor, Stephen Young, is running the technical operations of the broadcast this evening. Our photographers are once again back out in the field, making sure that all the cameras are sharply in focus and getting ready to track this Atlas V rocket once it takes flight. If you're not already following them from earlier today, you can find the crew at their handles here on X. John is at John Pisani Photo, Michael at MD Kane Jr., Adam at Aburn NYC. Also, be sure to follow Spaceflight Now simply at Spaceflight Now. You can find us as well on Blue Sky Threads and Facebook if you yourself are not on X. We're also joined this evening with tracking assistance, as we were before, by our friends Chuck and Jen Briggs with CNJ Images, as well as Pete Carstens with Max Q Productions. One of the last fueling milestones to begin in the countdown for an Atlas V is the loading of liquid hydrogen on board the Centaur upper stage. That process has now been completed. Topping is now underway for the rocket, which currently clocks in at about 1.29 million pounds, or roughly 587,000 kilograms at liftoff. This replenishment process will continue on until the final few minutes of the count. The go-no-go poll to assess the readiness for the teams to progress into the final terminal count will be at L-7 minutes. Time now T or L minus 45 minutes 15 seconds and counting. To give folks a sense of where this rocket's going to be flying, broadly speaking, it will head out due east, flying away from Florida's Space Coast. Here's a handy graphics map provided by United Launch Alliance to give a sense of when the booster is flying away. This is what you will probably be seeing once the mission reaches certain milestones, like, as you see on the screen, the jettison of the SRBs and when the booster separates. Just about 43 minutes remaining on the L minus clock. Here's a look at the spacecraft that is flying today. This is a look at one or a couple of the ViaSat-3 F2 spacecraft inside a Boeing clean room. Each of these clocks in at about 6 metric tons. And the one flying today will be deployed from the Centaur upper stage about 3.5 hours after the Atlas booster begins this mission, obviously separates, and then Centaur will continue on the RL-10 engine, firing 3 times in order to place this spacecraft on its geosynchronous transfer orbit trajectory. Here's a look at the spacecraft as it was being brought into the room where it was encapsulated inside the Atlas V payload fairings at the Astrotech Space Operations Facility in Titusville, which is not too far away from the Cape. And another couple of images there of the encapsulation process. And then before the rocket took off, ahead of the first launch attempt, photographers were able to set remote cameras in anticipation of hopefully capturing some pad level photos of the vehicle, but as things turned out, unfortunately, there was a mission scrub back during the first launch attempt on the 6th, and so we won't be getting pad level photography from our team. Time now L minus 38 minutes, 56 seconds in counting. Earlier this month, we had the opportunity to tour United Launch Alliance's rocket factory up in Decatur with ULA President and CEO Tori Bruno. We are looking forward to showing you more of that tour footage in the not too distant future. But for tonight, I want to bring you part of our conversation with Tori and his remarks talking about the importance of this ViaSat-3 Flight 2 spacecraft that they are now just a little more than half an hour away from launching. So here's part of our conversation that we had with Tori Bruno in this tour alongside Liz Hurley from WAFF there in Huntsville, Alabama, as well as another reporter with AL.com.
All our launches are important because they're important to our customers, makes that important to us. And the way to think about telecommunications for a company like Viasat, where this particular bird is in GEO, is it's not only about the broadband and LEO. LEO broadband is great for two-way surfing of the internet, where you need that what we call low latency, where the signal to the satellite and back is a very short span of time, and that happens because it's in LEO. When we get out to GEO, it's much, much longer, 22,000 miles. It's like 10 times that latency communication time, but not everything you want to do on the internet is two-way surfing. You know, when you start your movie on Netflix and it took an extra 200 milliseconds to begin streaming, you're not going to notice. And so that is a really important application for those types of telecommunication
if
satellites.
I'm on an airline, I want it to work, and that's what Viasat will do, right?
Viasat will give you that global coverage. They're going to give you that reliability. They're going to handle a lot of what we call backhaul applications, where data is moved around the globe behind your surfing experience. So those constellations will still want to be in low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, and all the way out to the GEO belt in that sort of blended architecture.
And our thanks again to ULA and Tori Bruno for their time during the tour. Again, we'll have more from that opportunity coming up here on the YouTube channel, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled for that video. Just passing L minus 36 minutes. We're coming into the final planned hold for ULA, which will pick up in just about an hour or 1.5 minutes from now. This final hold is just to verify that all of the ground systems, as well as all the systems within the rocket, are performing as expected, and that they're ready to proceed into the terminal count in the final 4 minutes before liftoff. Once the L minus clock hits L minus 4 minutes, it will sync with the T minus clock. The Centaur LOX tanks have reached flight level and are in topping mode as well. Less than 30 seconds to the start of that planned hold, the second planned hold in this countdown today. "34 minutes and counting." They are now T-minus 4 minutes and holding. Time now L minus 28 minutes, 18 seconds and counting. If you're just joining us, welcome into Spaceflight Now's live coverage of the ViaSat-3 F2 mission flying on board a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket that will send this spacecraft on its way to a geosynchronous transfer orbit. Certainly appreciate the more than 3,000 of you who are watching along with us live this evening. If you haven't already, you could do us a solid just by clicking that like button and sharing the stream to allow some more folks to find their way into our live launch coverage here tonight. Also want to thank some folks in the live chat who have been supporting us this evening. Big thanks to Bill in Lauderdale saying thank you Spaceflight Now for these wonderful launch shows. Thank you, Bill. Thanks as well to K2 Hat saying hello again from Miko. Thanks again. Don Pierce for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Don. Sever Eris joining us with channel membership at the pad leader level. Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us. Big thanks to channel member Chuck Close for a very generous $25 super chat. Thank you, Chuck. Good to see you this evening. And thanks as well to Fred Lee MH for also a very generous $50 super chat. Thank you, Fred, who says, go ViaSat-3 F2, launch it. Well, we will be seeing ULA launch it in just about 26.5 minutes, and let's take a look in an animated form at what they will be launching. This is an animation from Viasat of the deployment of the solar panels for the Viasat-3 Flight 2 vehicle, as well as the deployment of the antenna on that boom cable. Here's an overview as described by the company. Satellite manufacturer is Boeing, with the payload manufacturer, of course, being Viasat themselves. After liftoff here, coming up in just about 26-ish minutes, there will be 3 burns of the RL-10C upper stage engine before the ViaSat-3 F2 spacecraft is deployed from the Centaur upper stage about 3.5 hours post liftoff. That Centaur upper stage will then be put into what's referred to as a graveyard orbit, helping to make sure that it doesn't become space debris or interfere with other folks' missions that will be heading up in the future beyond today. While the ViaSat-3 Flight 2 spacecraft is arguably the more important payload for the company, it is not the only payload that Viasat has now sent to space today. Earlier, of course, we saw the launch of Blue Origin with its New Glenn rocket. The primary payload on that mission was the escapade mission for NASA, but also hitching a ride and staying affixed to the Glenn Stage 2 was Viasat's technology demonstration in partnership with NASA's Communications Services Project. This in-range technology demo was a way for Viasat to perform a test of what it's calling, as far as branding is concerned, its HaloNet portfolio. This is a launch data relay solution that the company is going to be rolling out in the future. They describe it as, quote, a demonstration of Viasat's launch telemetry data relay capability, representing a significant milestone and step to further validate how commercial technology can be used to support NASA as well as other launch providers. Here's an overview, as produced by Viasat, of what the HaloNet service will be able to offer in the future.
There's a pulse that drives every mission, a signal, a connection, a lifeline. In space, where timing is critical and distance immense, communications can't fall behind. From liftoff to orbit and throughout the mission lifecycle, HaloNet enables real-time, continuous, and on-demand telemetry, tracking, and control over secure L-band links, providing resilient connectivity with or without local ground infrastructure. In orbit, HaloNet provides high-throughput, low-latency data relay over secure satellite links, designed for global operations with roaming support that keeps you connected throughout the mission. When near real-time access to data is essential, HaloNet's global ground station network ensures direct-to-Earth connectivity, delivering rapid downlink around the world. And when your mission takes you off the grid, HaloNet includes a portable, field-deployable command and control platform, a self-contained mobile gateway that extends connectivity into remote or unpredictable environments, enabling continuous operations. Built with security in mind, HaloNet integrates next-generation encryption, trusted by defense and government users worldwide, protecting mission-critical data from the ground up. As legacy systems retire, HaloNet is already engineered to support what's next. From scalable infrastructure to emerging capabilities like optical communications. From the ground to orbit and everything in between, HaloNet is the pulse of your mission, connecting space, empowering progress, securing the future.
Time now, L minus 15 minutes, 47 seconds, counting. As we're getting ready to see ULA conduct its go, no go poll, its final readiness assessment at L minus 7 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mission profile for the ViaSat-3 F2 flight. This video, courtesy of ULA.
Following final confirmation of rocket readiness, the RD-180 engine and 5 GEM-63 solid rocket boosters ignite to produce more than 2 million pounds of thrust, lifting ULA's Atlas V rocket away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, the rocket begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the dynamic pressure it experiences during flight. Atlas then reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. The addition of 5 solid rocket boosters, or SRBs, precisely augment the liftoff thrust of the Atlas V, giving it the power to deliver the payload to orbit. With their propellant expired approximately 96 seconds into ascent, the SRBs burn out, followed by jettison. Atlas's guidance system then begins steering towards the precise target in space. The ViaSat-3 F2 satellite is encapsulated inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing, which provides protection to the satellite during ascent. After crossing the Kármán line, entering space, the payload fairing is jettisoned. With the majority of propellant expended fighting against the force of gravity, the RD-180 engine shuts down and the booster stage separates. The rocket then begins second stage flight, weighing less than 7% of what it did at liftoff. With the first burn complete, the Centaur engine shuts down for a coast phase. ULA's high-performance Centaur then performs 2 additional firings of its RL-10 engine. Together, the 3 burns increase the transfer orbit altitude and reduce the orbital inclination relative to the equator. During the third and final burn, Centaur expends all of its cryogenic propellant, minimizing the time to final orbit for ViaSat-3 F2. Following the final shutdown of its main engine, Centaur releases the ViaSat-3 F2 satellite into geosynchronous transfer orbit, or GTO, to expand and enhance in-flight connectivity for aviation passengers, exceed performance, security, and resiliency for governments, enhance internet experience on board vessels, and help deliver fast, reliable internet to rural communities.
Time now currently L minus 12 minutes, 12 seconds and counting. Teams are just about 5 minutes away from conducting the final readiness poll. Again, that should begin at roughly L minus 7 minutes. Once the ViaSat-3 F2 spacecraft has been deployed, as we saw in the animation, it will deploy its 8 solar panels, generating over 25 kilowatts of power. This spacecraft is designed to have about 15 years of operating life. After a handful of months of on-orbit testing and moving to its correct orbital position, it's designed to operate in the 79 degrees west longitude slot, with service beginning in early 2026. The satellite, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, was built by Boeing on its 702 MP Plus platform. And those solar arrays I just mentioned come from Boeing subsidiary Spectral Lab. With just a few minutes remaining before that readiness poll, I want to thank, first off, the more than 6,300 of you who are watching with us live today. Certainly appreciate you joining us this evening, especially if this is your second launch broadcast with us. Taking a look at our live chat, want to thank Parker Isaacson, joining us with a $5 super chat, saying, great view from pad 39A tonight. Virginia Pruitt, thank you for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Vincent Florio joining us with a $5 super chat, saying appreciate all this positive work the channel does for the fascinated and the curious. 3 cheers for science and human ingenuity. Also thanks to Monkey Tree Rob for a $5 super chat, and a welcome aboard to Pam Wheeler joining us with channel membership at the Pad Leader level. Welcome, Pam. We're glad to have you with us. Two minutes away from the start of that readiness poll. Here's a look at the launch weather forecast as shared by the 45th Weather Squadron. Teams are citing no meteorological concerns regarding liftoff, and no issues are being worked at this time on a technical front. Certainly good news. Just about a minute away from the start of the readiness poll, which we'll bring in the audio from that once it begins.
We remain in the planned 30-minute hold as we continue towards liftoff. In a few moments, ULA launch conductor Ed Kidda will pull the team for the final go to pick up the countdown. The launch conductor manages the launch team during the countdown, ensuring that all systems are performing nominally and that every member of the team is following their procedure and executing per the planned timeline.
28 engineers are pulled to confirm the rocket is ready to proceed. This is the final status check for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, the payload, and the United States Space Force Eastern Range. Let's listen in as he performs the poll.
L-minus 7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems. Propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems. Propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
HASGAS.
Go.
Electrical systems. Airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Op support.
Go.
COM.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
Environmental control systems.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range and weather.
Go.
Launch director.
You have permission to launch.
proceeding with the count.
Polling is complete, and the team is go for launch. From now until liftoff, launch conductor Ed Kidda and the launch team will continue reporting the final steps in today's countdown.
This includes verifying propellant levels and
And as you just heard and saw, the team has pulled go to proceed into the terminal count. The L- clock and the T- clock are set to sync up here in roughly 1 minute.
To help us.
The hold has now lifted.
We anticipate releasing the hold in just a few moments.
the countdown clock has resumed, and we are go for launch at 10:04 p.m. Eastern. While the countdown continues, let's learn more about how ULA builds the Atlas V rocket.
We're now just about L-3 minutes. The L- clock is synced with the T- clock, which means we are in the final few minutes before the liftoff of this Atlas V. As you can see, actually going back into the wide view here for just a moment, you can see the Orion constellation just above and slightly to the right of the Atlas V rocket. This is a mission heading to a geosynchronous transfer orbit, so it will head pretty much up and away from our vantage point here at the press site, so kind of arcing right about at the shoulder of Orion. Just under 2 minutes to the planned liftoff of this Atlas V.
FTS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch...
Bent valves locked.
T-minus 1 minute.
1 minute.
Rock, report range status.
Range green.
40. Stable at step 3. 28.
Verify ECS reduced for launch.
Verified.
25.
Status check.
Go Atlas.
Go Centaur. Go ViaSat.
And here we go. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of the Atlas V rocket on the ViaSat-3 F2 mission. The Atlas V has cleared the tower.
Atlas is switching over to closed loop control. Passing a mile in altitude, engine parameters continue to look healthy. And we complete our roll program, body rates returning to 0. Mach 1, Atlas is now supersonic. Hydraulics continue to look good, engine parameters stable.
You are hearing
Max Q,
Daniel
maximum
Brunson,
dynamic pressure.
providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Vehicle's throttling back up to near full power. Passing 3 miles downrange, approaching 8 miles in altitude. Body rates continue to look nominal. Hydraulics looking good. Passing 7 miles downrange. Vehicle's beginning to throttle down in preparation for SRB burnout. At this point in flight, vehicle is now half of its original liftoff weight. And we have good indication of burnout on all 5 SRBs. Vehicle's throttling back up to full power. Passing 30 miles downrange, 28 miles in altitude.
And a nice
And good
jettison.
indication of SRB jettison on all 5 SRBs. Body rates continue to look healthy. Engine parameters looking good.
We just heard confirmation of solid rocket booster jettison.
Now a little more than 2 minutes into flight. Coming up next is the payload fairing jettison at about T plus 3 minutes and 14 seconds into the flight.
Traveling at 5,000 miles per hour. Booster's going to begin throttling down, maintain 2.5 G's acceleration in preparation for PLF jettison.
Payload fairing jettison.
Approaching 60 miles in altitude, 6,600 miles per hour. And we've got activation of the second stage RCS system. Hydrazine coming up to flight pressures. And good indication of PLF separation.
Flight commentator Daniel Brunson just
And
called out
CFO.
confirmation of payload fairing jettison.
Now 3.5 minutes into the mission. Booster engine cutoff is less than a minute away, coming up at about T plus 4 minutes and 23 seconds. That'll be followed by stage separation and then the ignition of the RL-10 engine on the Centaur upper stage with the start of the first out of 3 RL-10 burns.
And we've begun boost phase chill down of the upper stage engines. And we've completed boost phase chill down. And good shutdown. That's BECO. Good indication of Centaur separation. Pre-start on LO2 and LH2. Ignition. And full thrust.
This is Atlas
Centaur's
Mission
enabled
Control
steering.
at T plus 4 minutes and 52 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Daniel Brunson confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally.
We have about 6.5 minutes until we reach our next mission event, shutdown of Centaur's main engine. We'll return with mission commentary as we get closer to that next milestone.
So far been a very nominal flight for United Launch Alliance with its Atlas V rocket.
Just under 6 minutes remain in this first plan burned. RCS thermal conditioning firings continue. Hydrazine line temps are beginning to approach bottle temps.
Still seeing the
Vehicles approaching 700 miles downrange, 128 miles in altitude.
seeing the glow of that RL-10 engine from P. Carson's tracking camera on the ground. That's the little dot in the center of the box on the right-hand side of your screen. And animation representation.
Centaur PU's gone to closed loop as expected.
Where the rocket is in flight with the telemetry data is on the left.
And we've switched over to our TDRS data format. Signal strength continues to look nominal. Vehicle's now 1,030 miles downrange, continuing right down the center of the range track. Engine parameters continue to look healthy. Body rate's looking nominal. PUs come off the lock stop, seeing engine parameters fluctuate accordingly as expected. And hydrazine line temps have converged with bottle temps. Three minutes remain in this first burn. Vehicle approaching 1,450 miles downrange, 145 miles in altitude. Engine parameters continue to look healthy.
Now roughly 2 minutes away from the end of this first burn.
2 minutes to planned MECO. Vehicle body rates continue to look nominal. RCS thruster firing is continuing as expected. Passing 1,800 miles downrange. One minute to plan MECO. .30 seconds to MECO 1.
This is Atlas Mission Control at
And
L
we have
plus 11
IIP
minutes
vanish.
and 10 seconds. We're coming up on the end of the first of 3 Centaur upper stage engine burns. Let's listen in.
And MECO 1, good shutdown. Settling has gone to 4S mode. Vehicle's begun turning to our second burn attitude.
Teams have now entered into a roughly 10-minute coast phase with the Centaur upper stage. This coast will last until about T plus 21 minutes and 35 seconds. ULA will continue to provide views with this live telemetry through the second out of 3 burns of the RL-10C engine. That second burn set to begin at T plus, as I mentioned, 21 minutes, 35 seconds, lasting about 5 minutes and 20 seconds, give or take. as we're continuing to track the mission in this roughly 10-minute coast phase. Want to thank a few folks.
Vehicles approaching 3,000 miles downrange. Upper stage parameters continue to look healthy. Helium storage bottle pressure, battery bus voltage, tank pressures, all looking nominal.
Thanks to channel member Norman Reitzel for a $2 super chat, saying thanks for doing such a good job with coverage. Thanks for the kind words, Norman. It's been a long day of big launch coverage, but certainly happy to have the team in place and see both of these missions, one execute quite wonderfully, and the one currently in progress very much well on its way towards good deployment of that ViaSat-3 F2 spacecraft. Paul Dutcher with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Paul. This is awesome coverage. Very kind of you. Justin Broderick gifting 5 Spaceflight Now memberships. And to our newest gifted members, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us. If you haven't already, be sure to thank Justin in the live chat, and we hope you decide to stick around with channel membership. John McKeever with a couple of $2 super chats. The second saying, congrats, Jonah. We're proud of you. Guessing Jonah either works for ViaSat or, well, either works for ViaSat or for Blue or Boeing or ULA. Either way, congrats, Jonah. We too are proud of you. Bill in Lauderdale saying thank you to all the mods. Awesome job you do. Certainly agree with that. K2 Hat saying thanks for the coverage. See you tomorrow. Yeah, don't forget, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we've got a Falcon 9 doubleheader on tap for tomorrow night with 2 missions set to launch as things currently stand. We'll see how things actually play out.
5 minutes to our planned restart.
Actuality. Both of those Falcon 9 launches currently scheduled to launch within the 10 o'clock hour. Part of the impacts from now the resolved government shutdown, but the still ongoing emergency order in place by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the FAA, which restricts commercial launches to fly.
4 minutes to our planned restart. Upper stage parameters continue to look nominal.
Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. local time, which is why this ViaSat-3 F2 mission is as launched during the time that it did. After the scrub because of the liquid oxygen vent valve issue on the booster during their first launch attempt, teams worked to reconfigure the launch plan for this mission to make sure that they could organize for time launching within the restrictions placed by the FAA, but still allow the ViaSat-3 F2 spacecraft to get to where it needs to go in geostationary orbit without using too much extra propellant and shortening its mission life.
3 minutes to MES 2. Body rates continue to look stable. Minimal RCS firings. Battery bus voltage, helium bottle pressure, all looking nominal. 2 minutes to planned restart. We're seeing expected increases to LH2 tank pressure. Preparation for restart. One minute to MES 2. LH2 pre-start. And LO2 pre-start. Ignition and full thrust.
And a good start to
Steering
this
enabled. Body rates responding accordingly.
second
This will
burn
be just over a 5-minute burn.
of the RL-10 1C engine. As you heard, the second burn out of a planned 3-burn sequence to send the spacecraft on its way.
Engine parameters continue to look healthy. Body rates looking nominal. PU's gone to closed loop control as expected.
As we continue to watch this burn, let's go ahead and wind the clock back and show you a little bit of what we were able to capture at liftoff. Checking out some of our launch replays, beginning with the turn basin view here at the press site.
Vehicle's passing 5,300 miles down range, 100 miles in altitude, traveling at near 19,000 miles per hour. Engine parameters responding to hydrogen correction from PU, all responding nominally. Just under 4 minutes left in this burn.
Now moving on to the South Tracker by Pete Karstens.
RCS thruster firings continuing as expected. Three minutes to MECO 2. 2 minutes to plan MECO. Passing 6,000 miles downrange. All parameters continue to look nominal. 90 seconds left in this burn. One minute to MECO. Thirty seconds to MECO.
Shifting to the wide tracker. A little bit of heat distortion there at liftoff, which is why things look a little compressed for a moment.
PU's return to open loop. And good shutdown. MECO 2. Settling has resumed 100% as expected. Body rates responding accordingly. Vehicles beginning to turn to Semester 3 attitude. And vehicles entering.
Now to checking Jen's tracker on Merritt Island. Apologies for that tone. Now turning to Adam's tracker here at the press site. Now to John Pisani's tracker here at the press site. And our final shot of the night, the super wide view here at the press site. And with that, that will go ahead and do it for us on this second out of two, thankfully, both so far successful launches from here at Cape Canaveral. want to thank our friends Pete Carstens with Max Q Productions and Chuck and Jen Briggs with C&J Images for their support of tonight's launch. Thanks as well to our moderators in the live chat, to Jeff Hansen, Rick Donner, and Astro Joe for hanging out with us and helping keep things kosher in the chat. Also, thanks to channel member Cumulus Granatus for helping to answer folks' questions. Big ups to our photographers for some excellent work throughout the course of both this launch as well as the New Glenn flight from Blue Origin. Be sure to follow them at their handles here on X if you're not already. Adam is at ABurnNYC, John at John Passati Photo, and Michael at MD Kane Jr. Spaceflight Now is also on X, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook. You can find us just by searching Spaceflight Now. Our thanks as well to Stephen Young for running the technical operations of the broadcast today. Most importantly, though, thanks to you for wherever you've been watching from. We certainly appreciate your time and attention, and we look forward to welcoming you back in when we have our planned double launch coverage for SpaceX and a pair of Falcon 9 rockets carrying 2 batches of Starlink V2 mini optimized satellites into low Earth orbit. For all of us here at Spaceflight Now, I'm Will Robinson Smith. Remember, be good to yourselves, be good to others, and we will see you next time, folks. Until then, bye-bye.